I'm Mike Sargent, and this is Arise on Screen.
Do you know who Vicente Cortez is?
In this week's reviews.
Mrs. Riva, we have got to get going.
Look at you, you're teeny tiny. You're like a little dog that I can put in my purse.
Sofia Vergara is a sexy widow of a drug lord who knows too much. And Reese Witherspoon is a rookie cop assigned to protect her. Together, they become the most wanted women in the country. Oscar winner Reese Witherspoon and Sofia Vergara star in Hot Pursuit.
I am her lover.
Ooh la la.
Big Bird and Oscar are two of the most famous characters on planet Earth.
80-year-old Caroll Spinney has been creating characters for more than 40 years and has no intention of slowing down. In a new documentary, I Am Big Bird, the Caroll Spinney story, we meet the man behind some of Sesame Street's most beloved Muppets.
Thank you, everybody.
Based on the best-selling book of the same name, the 100-year-old man who climbed out the window and disappeared is a story of Alan Carlson, a man who runs away from his nursing home on his 100th birthday and goes on the adventure of a lifetime.
If you want to kill me, you better hurry because I'm 100 years old.
All this and more on Arise on Screen. Hello, I'm Mike Sargent, and welcome to Arise on Screen, your global home for films both on screen and behind the scenes. And let's get to it first with this week's box office winners. Avengers Age of Ultron is at the top of the box office, followed by The Age of Adeline, Furious 7, Ex Machina, and Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 rounds it out in the number 5 spot.
Haiti. There are few other places around the world where there is so much chaos and artistic devotion.
And in festival news, the award-winning film In the Eye of the Spiral, narrated by singer and activist Annie Lennox, is one of 15 films featured at this year's third biennial Haiti Film Festival, hosted by the Haiti Cultural Exchange. The festival takes place around New York City and features shorts and documentaries produced by Haitians. The Haiti Film Festival runs through May 12th. Today I'm joined by film critics Brittany McCarthy. How are you, Brittany?
Hello.
And Julian Roman of MovieWeb.com.
What's up, Mike?
Okay. I'm glad for you both to be here. But before we get to our main films, Russell Crowe put his foot in his mouth this week when he said in an interview, quote, "To be honest, I think that you'll find that the woman who is saying that the roles have dried up is the woman who at 40, 45, 48 still wants to play the ingenue and can't understand why she's not being cast as the 21-year-old. Now, I don't know about you two, but I think Russell needs to go back to throwing phones, okay? So, Julian, I want to go to you first because I can only imagine what Brittany has to say. What do you think of what Russell Crowe is saying here?
You know, there's that great saying from Shaft, don't let your mouth get your ass in trouble.
I understand.
I mean, what a foolish, ignorant thing to say. And Russell Crowe flies off the handle. He's done this before, and it's a really insensitive, misogynistic thing to say.
Fatuous.
And deserves no comment from anybody. It should just go away, and he should go away too, to be honest with you.
I think so. And you know, what's ridiculous about it is, you know, Hollywood clearly has a history of older men working till, you know, look at Clint Eastwood, working till they're in their
Liam
80s.
Neeson?
Liam Neeson, who's still an action star. Let's not even get into the Expendables. And, you know, I don't know if you know, Meryl Streep has a film coming up called Ricky and the Sparks.
Yes.
And she's 65, and she's playing a rock and roll queen.
And she looks good.
She looks great, but she's clearly playing younger than herself. Now, what's your thought?
So who the hell is he to say that? I don't understand. Women, it doesn't matter what age. If we're 46 and we want to play a 21-year-old and we look good, let's play the 21-year-old. Who are you to tell us that we're the reason why we're the only ones complaining? You get what I'm saying? That's ridiculous.
It's pretty damn ludicrous.
It's an ignorant comment. It really is.
It is an ignorant comment. Honestly,
I think people should just ignore him.
Yes, I think so. And his film, you know, you can kind of ignore that too. So, we'll be right back to talk more movies.
You're in danger, ma'am. Everything's gonna be fine. What about my husband? Everything but your husband's gonna be fine.
Up next, as the widow of a drug boss, Sofia Vergara knows too much, and rookie cop Reese Witherspoon runs into trouble trying to protect her. In Hot Pursuit, next, here on Arise on Screen.
The great thing about Arise Entertainment 360 is that we cover the 360 of entertainment: food,
fashion, lifestyle, culture. We're able to cover it all. And the thing I love most about the show is we're able to do a stunning combination of high and low. So we can talk about Rihanna on the red carpet, but we can also speak about high art with people like Sanford Biggers and Hank Willis. We actually spend quality time with our guests, and we really get to know them. It's really intriguing because we get a 360 look at our guests.
The best way to predict the future is to create it. There's a special breed of achievers out there that are called tomorrow's people, the highly creative ones who live in the future. They imagine what will be and strive to make it happen. They're bold. They refuse to wait for the future. Tomorrow bends and conforms to their ideas. At Access Bank, we share the same sentiments. We've been able to grow our bank to become a leading player in Nigeria with a strong presence across the continent, adopting best practice in everything we do. Our mantra for success is simple: speed, service, and security. Those who shape tomorrow, strive for, and demand perfection. At Access Bank, our service culture of speedy response and drive for excellence is the blueprint for creating customer experiences that will echo for generations. Come, let's work together and take tomorrow.
So what we do is we bring together experts and analysts and thought leaders and CEOs in companies across many industries to not only provide the macroeconomic view, but news everyday people can use.
You don't have to like me, but I'm the best chance you have at surviving. What the heck is that?
Felipe must have put baking powder in the car.
How much baking powder?
I don't know, maybe like 42 kilos.
The new action comedy Hot Pursuit stars Oscar winner Reese Witherspoon as Cooper, an inexperienced cop assigned to protect Sofia Vergara as Danielle, a key witness against a drug cartel. This puts the duo on the lam from Crooked Cops and Dangerous Gunmen. At the recent red carpet premiere, the ladies spoke about working with a primarily female production.
I think we have a different kind of communication. It's an easier communication working with just women. We just have kind of a shorthand. We think the same things are funny, and it's also we just enjoy the process. It's fun, you know. We bring our kids to set, and our family's all there, and it was a good time.
Very comfortable. It's not that it's better, but it's just more like, you know, it's comfortable. We all were taking care of each other. Like, oh, you sit straight because your dress is not looking good, or you know, things like that. Girls, we are always like watching for each other.
Welcome back to Arise on Screen. So I have to say, I think they could have renamed this movie Hot Mess, okay? Because it was, at best, mildly amusing. At its worst, just ridiculously offensive and filled with stereotypes. And, you know, I have to say, I think Sofia is totally the modern-day Charo.
It wasn't that bad.
Okay, all right. Well,
it's terrible.
It's not terrible.
Let me hear you first, Julian, and then we're going to get to Brittany, because I know, Brittany, you're just going to go
This
off.
could be the worst film I've seen this year. It's racially offensive. I mean, Sofia Vergara, she's trying to be the spicy Latina, but she's falling flatter than like Taco Bell hot sauce. I mean, she's so
still spicy.
offensive in this film. And it's like, if you're a Latina actress, I mean, I would guess that you would shudder watching this movie, because she's kind of doing like this whole really offensive, super polarizing type character that's just not funny. It's actually quite egregious, I think.
Well, as a matter of fact, I saw it with one of our co-hosts here, Monica Castillo, and she didn't crack a smile through the whole thing. But you, Brittany, you enjoyed the film. Talk to me.
Well, I'm not going to say I enjoyed the film. The film was bad. But I didn't expect it to be so funny. I laughed at a couple of scenes. I thought it was going to be more of an action movie, but it had a little comedy to it. You know, some parts I was like, oh, this is a little boring. The only thing I didn't like is that Sofia, oh my gosh, Sofia. It's not funny that you cannot talk English. Like, I could not understand her.
Yeah, but that's a stereotype,
But she's doing that on purpose, though. That's the whole point.
It is. Now, do you remember Charo?
Oh, yeah.
From the 70s? Now, that is what Charo did. She was the sexy, coochie coochie queen, and that's what she did. She made a whole career on just
really
being that
offensive
stereotype.
and
to me, aren't we past that? It's been 40 years.
I mean, listen, we see her on her television show. You and I have interviewed her over the years many times. A very smart lady, and then when you see her taking these roles, you're like, this is really terrible.
I'll be honest. Let me just say this. She is smart because she's getting paid.
She's good.
Yeah, she
And if
is.
you're going to be, you know, let's just say if you're going to be a whore or something, you want to be the top whore.
Then what other
and
role
she's
could
the
she play?
she's the top paid female on TV today.
She is.
So
And she looks good.
But there's a little bit of, you know, how can I say this, good taste in a performance, especially when you're doing an ethnic, quote-unquote, performance.
Okay, now, okay, what about, we haven't, it's a female duo, what about Reese Witherspoon? You haven't said anything. What do you think of her performance?
Reese was okay. I wasn't impressed by her at all. Not at all.
Oscar winner Reese Witherspoon, we're talking
Yeah,
about
Oscar winner.
Okay.
I was not impressed.
You were not impressed. You, Julian?
She was terrible. I mean, it's hard to believe that she is an Oscar-winning actress. This film, to me, I'm literally being serious, could be the worst film I've seen this year. I didn't laugh one time in this movie.
Wow. All right. Well, I'll admit I chuckled a few times. There were some things that were kind of silly.
It was a little funny.
And it was like,
Wasn't
and they
funny
looked
at
like
all.
they had fun making the movie.
Yeah.
And, you know, in terms of the history of female on-screen duos, I think this will be not remembered. We're going to talk about that later in the show.
I wouldn't even recommend looking at a poster of this movie. It's that bad.
Okay.
No,
You recommend?
No. It depends. If you're bored at night and it's on Netflix, go ahead, watch it. I'll recommend it.
Bored at night on Netflix, you say no recommend?
No chance.
Okay, I
It's a
say...
little funny.
It's not
You
funny.
can do better. All right, we're going to go to our next film, which is a much better film, in my opinion, and I know you liked it, Julian. It's called 1001 Grams. It's about a female scientist named Marie who has no children, is recently divorced, and has very limited social life. But it all changes with an unexpected business trip to Paris.
Man determines the definition of weight, but it's equally important to understand what the definition of weight does to man.
C'est le kilo norvégien, ça?
Oui.
C'est lourd à porter, non?
Le plus lourd fardeau de la vie, c'est de n'avoir rien à porter.
Now, you see this movie, and I'm going to come to you first, Brittany, and then we'll let Julian bring it through. To me, what I liked about this movie is that it was a quiet, you know, they call it a comedy. It's really not so funny. But I like the quiet, lots of attention to detail. There are a lot of little good, and I felt that this movie just got better and better as it went along.
Really?
And then had a really, I thought, really good twist by the end. Now, you clearly didn't agree.
No, this movie was quiet. It was not I didn't laugh at all. I was trying to understand it. I couldn't understand what was going on. I had to like sit there and think like, really, what happened? Let me pause it real quick and then rewind back to that scene.
So this is a pause, rewind. You did, and Julian?
I thought it was very good. I really liked this movie.
I didn't get it. What was it about?
Well, it's a very subtle film. You know, it's a Norwegian film done by Ben Hamer. It's not one of these action 10 pigs in a bang films. But the whole idea of this woman who is a weights and measures woman trying to get the kilogram, you know, to be measured at this international conference, like going against her life, I thought it was pretty good.
I did too, and what I liked was all the attention to detail, just the little things, like when she's weighing her food at the food station.
The electric car with the electric car.
Like,
there are a lot of things I found was good. Well,
this was not good.
Clearly, you know, this is not your movie, so you would not recommend.
No.
All right, you would recommend?
I would, but she's right. If you're looking for an action film or something that's really got a lot of pop to it, you don't want to see this movie.
No.
This is a subtle, very amusing, reflective film.
I agree. I would recommend it, but it's definitely not for everybody.
Exactly.
And we'll be back.
Hello, there was a stop sign. I totally paused. You try driving in platforms.
We take a look at the most iconic on-screen female pairings of all time. Next, here on Arise on Screen.
I think media and reporters have a lot to answer for.
AIDS, hunger, people not having running water, the things that we just take for granted.
I think the most important issues in the world today are education and poverty.
Terrorism and war, I guess, is always. It's always an issue, and you know, the quality of life of certain groups of people in certain areas.
I think inequality.
Arise News, every culture, every angle.
Arise News is a different kind of network. We are able to tell our own stories, and we're able to cover stories in a way that other media outlets don't do. We've got world-class journalists, veteran journalists who have been in this industry for decades, not just in front of the camera, but behind the scenes as well. Arise News is a place where we can tell stories in an interesting, factual, inclusive way like no one else in the business can.
Well, Arise is the only network that really covers comprehensively the African diaspora. It gives people in other parts of the world of color a chance to know about people here in the United States, us to know about them, and the world to know about us. So it's kind of an educational experience for everybody involved. Getting to know people through stories, through personal stories. You really get a chance to know what people are actually all about, what communities are about. How are we different? But more importantly, what commonalities we all share.
Sorry. How about a real sorry?
This is going to be great.
You are about to feel some real pain. Don't talk to me about pain, sister. You didn't just call me sister.
That's not what you meant.
Because I don't recall seeing a little skinny white girl at the table growing up. First of all, thank you for calling me skinny.
That's a scene from Miss Congeniality 2, starring Sandra Bullock and Regina King. In our last segment, we reviewed the new female buddy action comedy Hot Pursuit, starring Sofia Vergara and Reese Witherspoon, and it joins a long list of Hollywood films that feature female duos. Let's take a look at a few of the most memorable female on-screen pairings.
I don't think he's gonna apologize.
Nah, I don't think so.
When it comes to iconic Hollywood films featuring female duos, 1991's Thelma and Louise with Gina Davis as Thelma and Susan Sarandon as Louise is the most memorable of them all. The two played average housewives turned fugitives on the run who eventually find their true independence along the way.
I just don't see why I couldn't be Tina. You don't see that.
In the comedy Miss Congeniality 2, armed and fabulous, Sandra Bullock and Regina King are undercover FBI agents who use their obvious differences to solve a kidnapping in Vegas.
I can't hold you.
All right, let's pull him over. Come on.
No, wait, I'm not getting anywhere, really. I can't lift him up.
And finally, last year's hit police comedy, The Heat, starring Melissa McCarthy and Sandra Bullock again, surprised everyone with its success at the box office. Whether they're fat and skinny, black or white, or blonde and brunette, the female buddy duo is definitely on trend.
I love it when you pull my hair like yay.
Now I have to say, that was a silly scene.
So unfunny.
It was a silly scene. But you know, I have to say, when you compare a movie like this to something like Thelma and Louise, which I think is a brilliant film, and one of the things, what makes a good buddy film, any good buddy film, male or female, is the chemistry between the characters and how they have to sort of complement each other. You know, I think Thelma and Louise is a great example of that. Now, are you a fan of that film?
That's a great movie, one of the all-time.
Now, what do you think makes that film work?
Well, I mean, the ending of that film was very shocking.
Yes.
You know, that they did what they did as opposed to, you know, going back to their lives.
Don't give it away for those who haven't seen it. Okay.
But I mean, when you look at, you know, female pairings, I feel there are all these small movies that people have forgotten about. Bound, Jennifer Tilly, Gina Gershon, Thora Birchford and Scarlett Johansson in Ghost World, Terry Swagoff's Ghost World. And then you go back to the 50s, Diabolique. You know, that's some really, really good stuff. And you know, the buddy cop comedies that Sandra Bullock does is pretty funny. But is it on the same, you know, par of Thelma and Louise in those films? I don't think so.
Well, you know, going back, we can talk about films like Imitation of Life, you know, which was way ahead of its time in dealing with, you know, black and white, and it's one of the first on-screen pairings of something like that. But I think, again, what makes these movies work is a good script. You have to have characters you actually care about. You know, now you mentioned a movie because you trashed that other movie. So tell me about your favorite female buddy cop, Babs.
Babs is hilarious.
Black American Princesses.
Okay, now why do you like that movie and why does it work?
It was so fun. I like comedy.
Okay.
And that movie was so funny. First of all, Natalie Reid and Halle Berry, they had such a good chemistry throughout the whole film, and it was just really good. It was well written, and I just thought the movie was
I will say it was a lot better than Hot Pursuit. Okay?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay?
It was funny.
It was funny. It's one of those films you don't really want to say you like, but it's kind of like a guilty pleasure.
I'm going to say it loud and proud. I like that film.
Now what was your choice?
You know, going back to what I said before, I really love Bound. You know, the whole Jennifer Tilly, Gina Gershon, lesbian romance. And then, you know, the two girls from Ghost World, you know, Scarlett Johansson and Thora Birch, as these two, like, weird loners that are connecting and having this weird, bizarre relationship. And then, once again, you know, the first time I saw Diabolique, I thought to myself, this is a very different film. You know, the cruel husband who has the mistress that he's flaunting around, and the ignored wife, and they get together to murder him. It's not what you see with Sandra Bullock films. It's a little bit more heavy and a little bit more layered. But once again, everything you said, the chemistry's there, the script is there. You know, I like stuff like that. But there is a place for BAPS. There is a place for the Heat.
Sure. Well,
know?
now let me ask you about The Heat. Now, The Heat is a movie, to me, that I expected not to be any good.
I thought it was hilarious.
And I thought it was great. I thought it was really funny. And I think one of the things you hit on something, what they really did is play against, like, exactly what they are. I think they tried to do that in Hot Pursuit, you know, like she's this, but they really didn't. I mean, she's, you know, straight-laced, and she's, you know, this sexy Latina, but there was nothing there to me, where you can't even compare it to a movie.
I don't think you can compare Sofia Vergara's comedy chops to Melissa McCarthy. I mean, she's not in the same ballgame.
Well, she's getting paid.
I mean, she's getting paid, but she's not in the same ballgame. Melissa McCarthy's a brilliant comedian.
And a very good actress.
And she's a good actress. I mean, Sandra Bullock was playing a straight man, you know? McCarthy made that movie.
Now, see, that's the other thing, too.
Straight
man, straight woman against the...
You catch me on that.
Exactly. Well, playing the straight woman, I think, is also part of what made it work. And part of what made Thelma and Louise work is that she's slightly older, she's a little younger, she's got one sensibility, she's got a different sensibility, and they both had similar goals. And I think that's part of what made that movie work, too, just like Diabolique.
Yeah, and you know, there's another film called Passion Fish, you know, that was pretty good.
Yes.
And these are smaller films that don't really appeal to the masses, but I'll say it again, Thelma and Louise was groundbreaking because no one knew where that film was going to go, and where it went, I'll say it again, shocked everybody.
Exactly.
It makes it memorable.
This cliche is what kills a good comedy.
Predictability.
Can we go back to Hot Pursuit really quick? Because where I got confused at was everyone keeps saying Sophia, you know, is sexy. She's supposed to say played a sexy character, but they kept pertaining to her character as this older woman. And she didn't look that older in the film. That's where I got confused.
That was the joke. That was the joke. Well,
that was a joke?
All right. Well, I'd say, why don't you tweet us at Arise on Screen and tell us who your favorite female movie duos are? And we'll be right back.
Oh, hello.
When we return, in a new documentary, we meet the man behind Sesame Street's Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch. I Am Big Bird, the Caroll Spinney story. Next, here on Arise on Screen.
There is a reason Africa is called the New Frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth lies in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
We're the first international television crew to visit the scene of Boko Haram's most audacious attack. We're in one of the dormitories where the insurgents came in and abducted the girls.
Okay, the time that this thing happened to us, we are in the school, so we are sleeping in the room, and we are hearing the gun.
The teachers ran away and left them alone.
There is some anxiety here as we prepare to show the Boko Haram video of the abducted girls to their families.
Now I am feeling happy because we see our friends, but we want to go and bring them for us.
For Arise News, I'm Charles Onyegolu in Borno State.
I mean, just
look at the legacy. Carol's been doing it from day one.
The Daytime Emmy Lifetime Achievement Award.
People have asked me, don't you want to retire?
Thank you, everybody.
And I can't imagine wanting to retire.
That's a scene from a fascinating new documentary called I Am Big Bird, the Caroll Spinney story. It traces the life of the man behind Sesame Street's Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch. He's 81 years old now and has no intention of retiring. So I have to say, this is a movie that I said, okay, Big Bird, be interesting. I thought it was fascinating. I found it moving. Actually, I was almost moved to tears at one point in the movie. I was really, I swear to you, I was. I was. Okay, listen, I was. So just because I'm more sensitive, don't hate.
Shoulder's always here for you, Mike.
Don't hate.
Here for you.
Thank you. I can cry on his shoulder. So I really, knowing that it's such an iconic character, and you don't really think about the fact that, yeah, everybody does know Big Bird.
Yeah.
And this guy, when you realize just how difficult it is to do what he does, I was really impressed. So you were impressed with this movie too?
Yeah, I would have to say I was impressed of the way that he actually works Big Bird inside.
With the hand up here.
The hand is all the way at the top, and
all
then
the time.
It's like he doesn't know where he's going. Like he can't really look outside,
see,
and
right.
like he's looking inside of like
little tiny
monitor inside the costume. I was like, that's amazing. Like, and Big Bird is on skates. He's like on boats. Like he's going all over the world.
Yes, he is.
And this guy is like, and I was just amazing that he didn't have any type of arm injuries from doing that over the years.
Well, and at 80, he's still doing
exactly.
it. So I was impressed.
Yeah. That was amazing.
And you, Julian, were you impressed by this movie?
I liked it a lot. I wasn't brought to tears like you were, apparently.
Please.
But
You have no heart.
A sensitive side? Like
no, I'm a cruel man. What can I say? But no, it's a fascinating story. You're right in the money. I mean, Caroll Spinney is so known by everyone, but nobody knows who he is.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing that I really liked about it was his whole idea of Big Bird being a child, of being innocent, and that's how he sees the world, as being like, a youthful essence. And the thing I love about the film, it goes back once again to how brilliant Jim Henson was.
Yes, it does.
Jim Henson was like, I mean, every time I think about him being dead, it just makes me sad because he really brought all these people out.
Yeah.
I mean, without him, none of these people would exist.
Exactly.
And I love how the film really pays homage to him.
I do, and I liked how it showed just the stages of Big Bird, not only the creation, but the stages of his popularity.
And Oscar as well, too.
And Oscar as well. And how, now that's the other thing that's interesting. Like, he did Big Bird, he's this big kid, lovable, but then he also does this grouchy character. So I thought it was great. You'd recommend?
Oh, yes, definitely.
You?
It's a great film. Definitely.
I think we all recommend. Our final film is called, and this is the title, The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared. It's based on the international best-selling novel of the same name. It's about Alan Carson, who on his 100th birthday finds himself stuck in a nursing home and decides to leap out his window and go on the adventure of a lifetime.
Yeah, no, I'm sure of that.
Thank you, Lord.
Now, I gotta say, this is a movie from the opening 2 minutes. I was like, wow, okay, I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm with it. When there's this opening scene where his cat dies and he decides to blow up the fox.
Cat. Oh, yeah.
I was like,
his cat, Molotov.
yeah, Molotov, his cat. I loved it. And I have to say, I like the flashbacks, how he told his story in the back and whatnot. This was a really, really fun, good, surprising movie. This is one of those movies, as a film critic, when you find like a gem, like you didn't expect.
Exactly.
And it was great. So.
Wait, can you please say the title again?
Okay. The 100-Year-Old Man Who Jumped Out the Window and Disappeared.
Okay.
So, you, Julian?
I love this film. I mean, put it in context, this film is the third biggest film to ever come out of Sweden.
Yes, it is.
Behind the Dragon Trilogy films. And I read this in somebody else's review, so don't quote me on this, but it was compared to the Swedish Forrest Gump. And that's a really good comparison.
Yes, it is.
Because you have this old man having this absurd adventure, and at the same time he's flashing back to his youth, where he's with Winston Churchill, Stalin,
going back through history.
Project.
Now, we're going to run out of time, but Brittany, tell me your thoughts on the film, because you loved it too.
Oh my gosh, I really liked the film a lot. What I liked about it is that it was easy, like you could understand what was going on, even though going flashback and then coming to present. A lot of times with films, they flashback, you get kind of confused of what's going on, but it stayed on topic. You knew exactly where we were going, and it was a lot of different unexpected events that were happening.
A lot of
surprises. That's what the best part
Him meeting Stalin and,
oh my God.
So many brilliant moments. Well, I got to say, it's been a lot of fun, and I thank you both for joining me.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
And I'm Mike Sargent. We'll be back next week to talk more movies here on Arise on Screen.